Welcome to the Service Above Self, the Greater Boston Rotary Podcast. Welcome to our first Service Above Self Rotary podcast. My name is Amy, and I am a local Rotary Club member. I've been a member for about 11 years in the Wakefield Rotary Club, but I am here to talk about Rotary in general for our first podcast, and I think answer some questions that people might have about this service organization. And so one of the questions I get asked all the time is, why is it called Rotary?
That actually, yeah. Hello, my name is Phil Healy from NORCAM and the NORCAST Podcast Network, and I'm actually here with Amy. Thank you for having me,
Sure.
Amy. Why do they call it the Rotary Club?
Yeah, and I wish we could rename it because it's people think, oh, are you, do you stand at the Rotaries? And no.
Something automobile related.
Yeah, no, actually. So it's called Rotary because, so our organization was founded in 1905 by a lawyer named Paul Harris.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Michael Rotary.
It was not. Yeah. Paul Harris. And what happened with Paul Harris is, so 1905, you can imagine there were some, tensions related to social issues. Some people were smuggling at the time, and he thought there was a downturn in society. And so he wanted to raise the ethical standards of people in general by doing service above self. And so what he did is he got together with 3 of his lawyer friends, and they rotated offices to have their meetings. Rotary was born from that, rotating offices. I wish we...
Lovely.
It gets kind of complicated. You know how there's been some controversy about the 129 Wakefield Reading Rotary up there?
Controversy as far as like how
the
it's kind of stupid.
The lane changes that are terrible.
Oh, no, yeah, because they're trying
it's insane.
I would liken it, because I am a video editor and all that sort of thing, and production guy, video production and film production. But like when Macintosh tried to go, or Apple tried to go on the route of making their software more appeasable to the novice, when in fact it made it more complicated.
Bingo.
When they try to appeal to people who've never been in a Rotary.
Bingo.
So.
Well, it's caused a couple problems with our name because there was all these people saying, "Oh, the Wakefield Rotary, the Wakefield Rotary is so awful." Wakefield Rotary.
What is the club doing about it?
The Wakefield Club, though, is wonderful. The Wakefield Rotary Club. Yeah, so we are not anywhere affiliated to anything related to traffic.
Except the traffic of human decency.
Exactly.
And not humans. And not humans.
Well,
not
that brings up a good point.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. So people say, well, what kind of projects do you do? So Rotary does anything humanitarian. I'll give you some examples in a second. What we don't really do, though, is environmental work.
Okay.
However, some of our projects, usually related to water and sanitation, have environmental benefits, but we don't specifically work on environmental projects.
It just kind of doesn't happen?
It just doesn't happen. We have 6 areas of focus, and I'll talk to you about that. Okay. The other thing that we don't really do that much of is emergency response.
Oh, right.
We love the American Red Cross. We let them handle a lot of that worldwide.
I am at odds with them a little bit and reading more, but go on.
Oh, we'll get back to that after. Yes. But we let them do the emergency response. Mm-hmm. There are other organizations that we support. For example, Shelter Box was founded by Rotarians. A shelter box is a big box that maintains all the supplies, including housing. It's a big tent, cooking supplies, and food that can house a family of 8 for up to 6 months. So we do some support of response work. But what we do is we prefer to go in and do the recovery work later on. Yeah. So get the community stable, and then Rotary will come in and rebuild. We'll reestablish those schools. And I'm talking worldwide. We're a worldwide organization, 1.25 million members worldwide.
Oh, wow.
And we were most recently recognized by Bono. Who made a video for us, and he said, I do my humanitarian work worldwide, and everywhere I go, I seem to find that Rotary was there right before me.
And he hates it. He wants to be number 1.
He loves us.
He hates that he's number 2.
He is
and
number
if
2.
You're familiar with South Park, then that might ring true. Who knows? But
so that's kind of what Rotary does.
Oh, lovely.
So let me talk about our 6 areas of focus.
Please.
So the first is maternal and child health. The main goal being increasing child's birth rates, but also delivering healthier babies. So that might be investing in moms' prenatal vitamins. It could be giving them better medical treatment centers when they're giving birth. And again, keep this in mind of worldwide.
Yeah.
The second is basic education and literacy. And I don't want people to think that it's just kids. We work with adults who might need computer literacy. We might work with seniors who never became literate. It's not really age specific. The third is peace and conflict resolution. And this could be anything from Rotary actually owns and operates peace centers that you can get a certificate in. You have to have had a master's in this area or pretty significant professional experience to even get into this program.
Well, I have a doctorate in mayhem.
Oh,
that's very.
Well,
that's a
yeah,
total.
I don't think you qualify,
no,
Phil.
that's not.
I'm sorry.
That's other end of the spectrum.
The other cool thing about peace and conflict resolution, it could also be about anti-bullying conflict, things like that. The fourth area of focus is water and sanitation, and this is something I have personal experience with. I went to Honduras to build water filtration centers for homes that actually went into the homes.
Oh, nice.
We believe that future wars of the world are going to be fought over access to clean water.
Yep.
I'm sure you understand all of that. It's an epidemic that we're going to have to deal with down the road, and we would like to just get a jump on that.
Sure.
So that's the fourth. The fifth area of focus is economic and community development. Now, everything else kind of falls under here. Community development can be very broad, but economic development, we like to work on microcredit. Have you ever heard of microcredit?
Vaguely, yes.
It's the coolest thing. You can apply to receive small loans that help mostly women get out of debt. And a good example might be the Banker of Grameen in India. This gentleman's founded this. And what he wanted to do was this bank offers small loans to women who want to start their own business at zero or low interest. And that allows them to not have to owe somebody constantly and never get out of the poverty cycle.
The cycle, yeah.
The other thing is they don't allow lawyers in this bank. Isn't that interesting? So it's kind of just an agreement. So that's an example of microcredit. So what was that, 5?
I think that was
5. Where are we at?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Let's see. Water and.
I think 4 was water and.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think micro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the last one is actually another project that I'm involved with, and that is disease prevention and treatment.
Oh, okay.
Rotary is most known in this area for our work with polio eradication. Most people might be surprised to find out that polio is still around.
Yeah.
And it's actually still in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nigeria. We recently were declared polio-free in India, which was the worst hit. It's a debilitating disease. Anybody can get it if they're unvaccinated. And so I should mention that Rotary is not political nor religious, but in this area we get a little political because we do advocate for vaccines.
Well, of course. I mean, at that point, this shouldn't be a politicized issue.
We agree on this issue,
I mean,
but
it's just silly.
Yeah. So our work with polio could be anything from raising awareness to actually physically delivering the vaccines to children, actually having volunteers drop them. And this is done sometimes at the risk to our volunteers. Several years ago, like 2 years ago, we had one of our vaccination teams in the northern part of Pakistan, and they were told that if they go to a specific village to give these vaccines, they had a likelihood of being killed.
Yeah, or
and they still went.
The arms of people you give the vaccines to will be cut off.
Of course. Yeah. And they went, and they were at the risk of being killed, and they were killed. And it was a tough hit for everybody. Yeah. But in our area, in the greater Boston area, we support this project by doing a polar plunge in the northern Atlantic off of Gloucester.
I will say that was quite an artful redirect of murder to polar plunge.
Yes, you like that one? So we support polio by raising funds. And how much do you think a polio vaccine costs?
I imagine maybe 15 cents.
60 cents.
Okay.
60 cents. So, I drink my Starbucks coffee. I'm probably drinking, what's worth of several. Well, we actually have...
U.S. dollars, 60 cents?
60 cents U.S. dollars. Now, I'm using an average, by the way, because...
Sure.
Exact is, And we have a phenomenal partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. For every $1 we raise specifically for polio, they give us 2.
Oh, yeah, because they're fairly big players in Africa and all around the world.
Yes, and we have a massive partnership with them. We're also part of the World Polio Initiative, so UNICEF, CDC is part of this.
No, UNICEF is an organization that's almost blotchless to me in so many ways.
The work they do is amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
The World Health Organization is another partner with this, and Rotary is such a key player. By the way, we're really good about being quiet about what we do, but
except now.
Except now,
turning around.
That's part of my job. Yeah. So when the new director of the World Health Organization took over, she actually mentioned Rotary in her inaugural address in the important partnership, and it is because Rotary is not political. We are able to get volunteers in places that are not otherwise allowed to be in. So that's kind of what Rotary does. And in maybe our next few podcasts, we're going to talk about what we do locally and all the awesome projects we have going on internationally as well.
Well, where could people find out more about Rotary?
Sure. So for our area, you can visit Rotary 7930.org, and that's specific to our Greater Boston, Southern New Hampshire area. Our area is from Salem, New Hampshire, all of the Merrimack Valley, Greater Boston area as far south as West Roxbury, all of the North Shore and Cape Ann.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And so you can check that out online, and I'm sure more information about how to contact them is there, email or phone.
Yep.
And is there any cost to join up, or is it?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of misconception about who can be a Rotarian. So let me just address that first.
Sure.
I think for sure in the past it's been a bunch of old white men with a lot of money,
or middle-aged white men. Let's
not. In North America, Rotarians are very middle class people. In other parts of the world, to be honest with you, it's very upper class. You need to make a lot of money. That's not the case in our area. For our area, there is a fee to join, and that's because you're joining the Rotary Club. But every club sets the rate, and that's because we eat at every meal, every meeting. And so, for example, if you're meeting at the Park Plaza Hotel, well, that's going to charge you a little more.
Sure.
My club charges $15 a meal, so it's a little bit more affordable. Yeah. But it really depends on everybody's level of interest and participation. And to join, the process is basically you call us up and you're like, hey, I want to come to a meeting. And you visit a couple times and make sure that we're a right fit for you. I say that because every club is independent. Although we all have a charter with Rotary International, we all operate independently. So the cultures take on the culture of the community. An example of that is that I was a member of an Australian Rotary Club, and they're very sarcastic, very politically incorrect.
And they use a lot of negative terms we look negatively on, and with a very positive spin.
Yeah, and it was all in good jest.
Oh, it all
and
is,
so if you're sensitive to that, that club might not have been a good fit for you.
Or maybe you should.
There's a Rotary Club in our district who will remain nameless that sings show tunes. Mm-hmm. My Rotary Club is really relaxed. We can wear jeans. It's super chill, and that fits me. But that's how you can join. You can contact us again. Look online at Rotary7930.org, and we would love to have you come visit a meeting.
No, that'd be great. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Phil.
Looking forward to more episodes.
Sounds good.
This podcast is part of the NORCAST Podcast Network. Check out more podcasts at podomatic.com/NORCAM. This podcast is part of the NORCAST Podcast Network. Check out more podcasts at podomatic.com/NORCAM.